everyone. If you don't know me already, my name is Michelle Vinakurov. On my social media accounts, I'm known as Exceptional Shell. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, you name it. I'm everywhere. And I'm also I'm an autistic blogger of my own website known as The World of Autism. I've been doing a bunch of different types of guest interviews and everything. And I am so excited for my latest guest, Antonio. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. So let's get right into it. Can you briefly tell a little bit about yourself, like with growing up as an autistic and your current work?
Sure. Where do I start? I'm currently a photographer, videographer, and editor. And in that capacity, I do video editing at Full Spectrum. I joined about August, just shortly after summer, and I've been there ever since. And I think we've made a lot of good progress here from what I've seen, especially from when I first started.
That's awesome. And Full Spectrum, as you know, it's an honor to be working alongside with you too, Antonio. As for me, with working with Full Spectrum, I have been their blogger and been working on other roles with them, as such as becoming their incoming RBT.
Oh, congratulations on that.
So excited about that. And it's amazing about how much the company has grown, with everything. And speaking about with how much they've grown, especially with what you've done, you have helped co-create an app for Full Spectrum, correct?
That's 2, actually.
Awesome. Can you tell about the 2 apps that you helped co-create?
I'll go briefly into the first one that's officially out, the Full Spectrum ABA app. That one launched just a few weeks ago, and that one is sort of a free resource for CEUs, or continuing education units, for those who aren't familiar with that term. And it's done for free, so it's not like you have to pay for those lessons or anything, but it's a great resource and it's very easy to access, and we've seen a lot of growth in just the short time that it's been available. And I know we're here to talk about NTC, but I don't know if you also had the chance to look at the Full Spectrum app as well.
I have looked at the app, and people can download, if you have what I have an Android phone. You could definitely download it on Google Play Store. They have the Full Spectrum app, and let me tell you, it has a lot of great resources, as Antonio has said. With the CEUs and with podcasts that people can enjoy listening to, it has a tons of resources especially for people to learn about with the field in general.
Absolutely.
You agree? And can you now tell about the other app that you co-created?
Yes, the NTC app. That one is more focused on job training, specifically job training in what we call creative industries. That's what NTC stands for, is neurodiverse training in creative industries. And what it's really existing to do is to give easy to understand tutorial lessons on the kind of stuff that, the stuff that I do, that Nick does, that David does, this kind of stuff we do here, with video editing, with Photoshop, with I'm not 100% sure if we're diving too deeply into audio, but definitely in the creative fields, NTC is sort of there to give some easy to understand lessons that it's targeted towards the neurodiverse community, especially since they're the ones with the need for employment. But theoretically, anybody could understand the lessons that are being taught with it.
I definitely agree with you, because I feel like that the lessons, they it's pretty much for everyone to build on like skills in general. And it just, like these kind of skills that you get from the app, like you said, with editing and with Photoshop, all these things, like it could be very potential for careers and everything.
Yeah, especially since it's more focused on stuff that people are really passionate about. I mean, don't get me wrong, fulfillment programs are great. In this economy, a job is a job, especially for an autistic person. But we kind of want to be able to offer more than just, than just traditional jobs, especially the kind that, you go into a small room and, I don't know, fold napkins. Maybe it'll get you a paycheck, but really, other than getting paid, where's the fulfillment in that? So that's the huge focus for NTC, is that it's focusing on the creative aspect that lets people not only use their imagination, but also learn how they can practically build it into possibly a self-sustaining business. Because a lot of these skills, you look at businesses today, and the further along we go into technology, the more you realize just how important video advertising and video marketing is. So to be able to offer those tools to really anybody, especially the neurodiverse community, for them to be able to take those skills and either start their own business one day or market themselves as, basically what I do. Like, they go to someone, say, hey, I know how to use Premiere. I know how to use After Effects. I can do this cool stuff for you. And I mean, you can still go to school for that and stuff, but, if that's not on the table for you, you can still have a resource to be able to learn. Like, you go on YouTube and Google, you can learn anything. And this is just a resource targeted towards the neurodiverse community to be able to access that.
I agree, and I feel like with these resources that and did you say they're free, right?
Yes, the tutorials themselves are absolutely free. You just download.
So
once it launches, you download the app, and you find, they're going to be divided into, based on like video design, graphic design, web design, so on and so forth. There'll even be some sections on, like camera equipment and such for, the more physical aspect of it. And yeah, they are all free to watch.
And what have you enjoyed the most about with NTICI?
This is actually going to be a two-part answer for me.
Okay.
The first answer that I'm going to give for this is that because I've done most of the tutorials, it's for clarification, the very first tutorial I started filming and editing was way back in September. The idea for NTC has existed even longer, way before I started with Full Spectrum. So from September on, I've just been doing, multiple tutorials. So that just allowed me to get very creative with like the sort of things we can teach people how to do. We started out with some of the more practical stuff, like especially as we dove into like social media, like just like how to create an account for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth. And then as we got those basics down, we were able to get into some of it gets a little more challenging, like, like as you get deeper into it, but it's also a lot more fun to do once you learn how to do it. So being able to get that, to get those lessons out there, that's my first answer. Is it allows me to be very creative with, I guess, it's really sort of a teaching process, but
yeah,
without the constraints of red tape or a guideline or anything. Just take ideas that we think would be cool to teach and just teach them.
And,
So that's
I realized.
Well, I was just gonna say that's my first answer for that. My second answer is that it's fulfilling a need that really does exist. I mean, like I said before, fulfillment work can be great in terms of getting a paycheck or giving them, and by them I mean the autistic / neurodiverse community. It can be good to give them, something to do other than sitting at home being ignored. But you also want to be able to give them the options to, how should I say it, to do something that they could be very passionate about. And because that's something you may notice with the population is they're definitely, I don't want to say all of them are on the more creative side, because some of them are more by the books. I mean, you look at people like Temple Grandin and Albert Einstein, not Apple Einstein, Albert Einstein, and you see, they take very logical approaches to that side, but then a lot more are on the creative side. Like, you think of people like, I don't know, like, I don't know if Tim Burton is officially diagnosed, but he gets credited a lot with, in terms of like that weird creativity that resonates with the neurodiverse community, because a lot of them I've met a lot of them tend to be like fans of like, the weird and the unknown. And let's be honest, Burton embodies the weird and unknown. So who knows? But point being that a lot of the autistic population likes to be more creative rather than just, well, I shouldn't say all of them. Some of them do like having that routine, but a lot more like being able to do their own thing and being able to offer a resource to give them that sort of freedom, that sort of independence to one day be able to learn those skills, take those skills, and, build a life for themselves with it. That's really the second part of my answer, is being able to provide that resource for them, because as I said in the beginning, it is a need that needs to be filled.
Absolutely. And especially like as we know, like it's still an issue with employment, that most of the population still, that for autistic individuals, that a lot of people are still unemployed or they're underemployed, where they're working minimum wage jobs, so
Exactly.
that's what I'm getting out with the app, is that the fact that it's going to provide these resources where you learn a ton of skills that build on creativity. And I also, another question for you is about in the app as well, about with a data sheet for behavior analysts.
Yeah, that was definitely something that had been discussed early on, was for BCBAs and RBTs who have clients that have these sort of creative interests. The intention with those data sheets is to take, well, there's going to be data sheets for each individual lesson, but what we wanted to offer was a cohesive over 400 pages of data that they just take that. They have the instructions right there. So even after they watch the video, they have like not only a reference, but like something that they can keep for themselves that will, further help them grow. And that's something we want to offer to BCBAs for their clients who may have an interest in this sort of thing.
That's awesome. Is this also a free resource, or for them that would be paid?
The data sheets, the way it's currently being offered is over 400 pages would be offered for $9.99, but that $9.99 that goes right back to different resources and programs that focus on autistic employment.
Got it.
To clarify, the videos and the tutorials and all that stuff, that's free. The only thing that would require money would be if you wanted all those 400 plus pages of data sheets. And again, that just goes right back into the very resources, the very programs that we are trying to expand upon with this, is providing employment for autism and the neurodiverse community.
I couldn't agree more. This is definitely, with both the Full Spectrum app and the NTICI app, I definitely believe that people should go and download it, because there's a lot of great resources for not just for the neurodiverse community, but for a lot of people, including behavior analysts who are working with autistic clients. And it's just that way, it helps everybody out grow in their own ways. Employment, personally, everything.
Absolutely.
So, do you want to add something?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Okay. All right. So, last thing, about where to download the apps. Where can you download them?
Same place you get any other app, really. It's on the Google Play Store for Android and whatever the Apple equivalent is. I'm blanking on that. The App Store, right? For Apple users?
I believe for Apple users, I know because I have an Android.
Okay, yeah. That makes
Android phone right here. Definitely the App Store is Google Play Store. For those of you that are Android users, that's where you can download both apps. And another thing, which I almost forgot, and I should have actually, this was a great way to end this, is when is the NTICI app going to be released?
Our launch day is going to be March 22nd.
Awesome. Very cool. Antonio, it was great having you on and to share about yourself, and also about with the awesome work that is happening, with the app and with Full Spectrum in general. It was awesome having you on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And again, for people that want to follow me, you can follow me as Exceptional Shell on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, you name it. Also follow and subscribe to my blog website, The World of Autism. Thank you, guys.